For centuries, the United Kingdom has been shaped by waves of migration, trade, and cultural exchange. Today, millions of Muslims call Britain home. They are doctors, teachers, politicians, entrepreneurs, and artists. But how did Islam become one of the largest religions in Britain? The story of Muslim migration to Britain is not a recent one. In fact, it stretches back over 400 years. And it begins during the age of empire, diplomacy, and global trade. The first significant contact between England and Muslim societies occurred during the reign of Elizabeth I in the late 1500s. At the time, England was competing with powerful Catholic nations such as Spain. To counter this threat, England formed diplomatic and trade relationships with Muslim powers such as the Ottoman Empire. In the year 1600, a Moroccan ambassador named Abd el-Wahd ben Masoud arrived in London. His mission was to discuss a possible military alliance between England and Morocco against Spain. For many English citizens, it was the first time they had ever seen a Muslim diplomat. Although these early visitors did not settle permanently, they marked the beginning of Britain's connection with the Muslim world. Large-scale Muslim migration began during the height of the British East India Company. The British Empire relied heavily on sailors from South Asia, the Middle East, and East Africa. These sailors were known as Lascars. Thousands of them worked on British ships traveling across the empire. Many came from regions such as Bengal, Gujarat, Yemen, Somalia. When their ships arrived in British ports, some sailors stayed behind. Over time, small Muslim communities began forming in port cities such as London, Liverpool, Cardiff. Life was difficult for these early migrants. They often faced poverty, racism, and isolation. But despite the challenges, they built the first foundations of Islam in Britain. One remarkable moment in British Muslim history occurred in 1889. A British convert to Islam named Abdullah Quilliam established the Liverpool Mosque and Muslim Institute. It was the first organized mosque in Britain. Quilliam's mosque became a center for Islamic learning, social support, and cultural exchange. For the first time, Islam had an institutional presence in Britain. Around the same time, another historic mosque was built in southern England. The Shah Jahan Mosque became one of the most important Islamic centers in Europe. These early institutions played a crucial role in preserving Islamic identity among Britain's small Muslim population. Everything changed after World War II. Britain had suffered enormous economic damage during the war. Factories needed workers. Public services needed staff. Cities needed rebuilding. To solve this crisis, Britain opened its doors to workers from across the Commonwealth of Nations. Thousands of migrants arrived from countries including Pakistan, India, Bangladesh. Many of these migrants were Muslim. They settled in industrial cities such as Birmingham, Bradford, Manchester, Leicester. At first, many workers planned to stay only temporarily. But over time, they brought their families and built permanent communities. This migration wave created the largest Muslim population Britain had ever seen. By the 1970s and 1980s, Muslim communities were growing rapidly. New mosques, schools, and cultural centers appeared across Britain. Cities like Bradford became major centers of Muslim life. Entire neighborhoods developed strong South Asian Muslim cultures. Restaurants, businesses, markets, and mosques transformed urban landscapes. Islam was no longer a small minority presence. It had become part of the social fabric of British society. In the 1990s and early 2000s, another wave of Muslim migration arrived. This time, many were refugees escaping war and instability. They came from places such as Bosnia and Herzegovina, Somalia, Afghanistan, Syria. Conflicts like the Bosnian War and the Syrian Civil War forced millions to flee their homes. Some of them rebuilt their lives in Britain. These communities brought new languages, traditions, and cultural diversity to British Islam. Today, Muslims are one of the fastest-growing religious communities in the United Kingdom. More than 3 million Muslims live across the country. The largest populations can be found in London, Birmingham, Manchester, Leicester. Muslims today are active in every part of British society. They serve in government, healthcare, business, education, and media. One of the most prominent Muslim leaders in Britain today is Sadiq Khan, the Mayor of London. His election symbolized how deeply integrated Muslim communities have become in modern British life. The journey has not always been easy. Muslim communities have faced discrimination, economic challenges, and political debates around identity and integration. Events such as the September 11th attacks and the July 7th, 2005 London bombings intensified national discussions about security and multiculturalism. Yet despite these challenges, British Muslims continue to shape the future of the country. The story of Muslim migration to the United Kingdom is a story of resilience, opportunity, and transformation. From sailors arriving on imperial ships, to workers rebuilding Britain after war, to millions of citizens contributing to modern society, Muslims have become an essential part of Britain's history. And their story is still being written today. For more historical narration, subscribe, like, and share.